This video is part 3 of the SonicMQ 10.0 in regards to OspreyHost version 11.7.100 videos. The first two were on installing Sonic 10 and then configuring Sonic 10. In this one we're going to touch on the configuration in OspreyHost as well as setting up the Sonic as a service, and then a brief look at the Sonic Management Console to confirm that everything is working. So first off, we're going to check our real-time configuration setup. This is especially important if you're upgrading from a prior version, as a couple of things have changed. The configuration is under the configuration in the main menu, then OspreyHost parameters, and then real-time connection parameters. So we're going to come over here and click on update. This system has already been correctly configured, but the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure the SonicMQ interface is enabled. If it's not, we simply click on it to check it. The second step is this progress name server. This has changed from prior versions. It should be a simple dash and then SMQ connect with the SMQ and C and connect capitalized. The Sonic broker URL should be confirmed. The port is 2606. That was actually changed in prior versions, so that should already be correct. The IP address should be the IP of where the SonicMQ is installed. In this case, it's localhost. We've simply chosen to use 127.0.0.1, which is a loopback address, and the same thing. Confirm that your host name and password for the SonicMQ are correct. This one is using the defaults from the configuration, which is JMS and JMS, both in lowercase. You'll also notice that the app server parameters for Messenger and Worker are grayed out. That is because they are no longer used. So in this case, we're going to save everything. And then we can go ahead and close this out and close our host out. One thing to note is this is a continuation of the prior video. The SonicMQ domain has been shut down. We do need it shut down in order to configure this as a service. To do our service configuration, we need to open up an administrative command prompt. There are multiple ways to do this depending on operating systems. Simply going to hit the Windows key, type CMD for command, right click on that and choose Run as Administrator. That's going to bring us up an administrative command prompt. As you can see, administrator command prompt. Now we need to navigate to the following folder. First, for ease of use, we're going to navigate to the root of the C drive. CD Sonic, enter. CD containers, enter. CD domain1.domain manager, enter. That could have all been done as one command, CD /Sonic /containers /domain1.domain manager from the original Windows System 32 directory. However, for some people it's easier to type it as it's been done here. From here, there'll be a custom batch file that was created with the Sonic configuration. We're going to run that batch file, win service /install. As you can see, it says that our service was installed. We're going to go ahead and type exit to close this window. Now we're going to confirm that that service is installed. So we're going to click on start. There are multiple ways to get to where we need to go. In this case, we're going to simply type services.msc to launch the services command panel applet. Sorry, that's control panel applet. When it comes up, we're going to scroll down until we get to our S's. And as you can see, we have a Sonic Domain Manager service, Domain 1. It is set to start automatically, however it is not running. This will automatically start upon reboot. So we're going to close this. Now for our purposes, we're going to simply manually start it versus starting the service from there, because I'm going to want to stop it again in a moment. So I can click on Start Domain Manager. If that's not showing up under my recently added for whatever reason, I can simply go to ARIA and then Start Domain Manager. The other reason we wanted to manually start this is so that we would see it start via the command window. If it's running as a service and it's starting automatically, you will not see a command window come up, and we have no way of confirming it started. Well, we have no easy way from the GUI of confirming it started. We would have to browse out and look for a PID file. While that's going, our next thing to do is we're going to start the Sonic Management Console, which is in the same location under ARIA. Sonic Management Console. Click on that. That's also going to open up a command window, and then it's going to launch a GUI window right behind it. There we go. What we have here are the defaults. We're going to enter a default username and password, which are both administrator with a capital A. And that's going to launch our Sonic Management Console. Once it's launched, you'll see we have two tabs, Configure and Manage. If we want to confirm that our queues have been correctly created, we can expand brokers. You notice we have two, a management broker, which is what we're using for management, and then a broker 1, which is what we're actually running our operations with. So we're going to expand broker 1. We can click on our queues, and we'll see the default Sonic queues up here, and then the Osprey queues below it. So yeah, they've all been created. If we wanted to confirm our acceptors are working and created, we can click on acceptors. You'll see two. The one we're interested in is the TCP acceptor, which is configured for 2606, so it's ready for connections. We could also confirm that our containers are created. We click on containers. You'll notice again we have two, one for the domain manager, which is our management broker, and container 1, which contains our broker 1, which is our day-to-day operations. And as you can see, it's set to auto start. The last thing we may want to check down here, actually there are two things we may want to check. Our activation daemon, which is our Unified Messenger daemon. If you'll notice, that's set to start container 1, which container 1 then starts broker 1. Now the last thing we might want to check down here is our security. We can go to default authentication, click on users, and we'll see our default users that were created. We have the administrator user, broker 1, and our management broker, and then the three actual users that the installation scripts created, the JMS for host, store 1, and store 2. From here, this is where you could add more users, delete users, change passwords, etc. For example, if we right click on JMS, we could delete it, or we could choose properties. Under properties, that's where we can import users, set passwords, etc. If we simply right clicked on a blank space, we could choose new user, and for example we could add store 3, so store 003, and set a password, also store 003, and now we have a third user in here. Clicking OK. Now if we click on manage, this is where we will see things such as our actual physical connections. So for example, we're going to go down to containers and expand that. Expand container 1, expand broker 1, and click on connections. As you can see, we don't have any yet. So let's go ahead and start our sender by double clicking on it, and our receiver. Once the system's up in production, as was discussed in the earlier videos, those will want to be placed so they start up automatically from an account that can start when the machine is rebooted, traditionally an administrator level account. Once these come up, if you click down here, you'll notice that they're initially in error. However, after a few seconds when they do connect, you'll notice the icons changes to this one is our waiting one, this one is actually processing. If we come up here and refresh this, you'll see that we have our sender and receiver connections. Those correspond with these icons. These icons down here, if you hover over them, it will tell you this one is a receiver waiting for messages, this one is a sender. If we wanted to stop one or the other, we could right click on it and choose to quit the sender, for example. Now if you'll note, the one icon has disappeared. If we come up here and refresh, one of our connections has also disappeared. We could restart the sender by simply double clicking on it. Again, we'll be back to two icons, and again if we come up here and give it a moment and refresh, Now we have our two connections again. Additionally, you can click on these icons and it will bring up a window. Currently, it is just a blank window. There are potential plans in the future to add some informational pieces to these windows. Currently, we are not doing that. The same process works as far as the emailer and drink feed, though they will not appear here. Um, those processes will also create icons down here for processing. We can also check the status of our queues from here. As you can see, we currently have no message processing. If we go into durable subscriptions, we currently have no durable subscriptions. Once the stores were to connect, durable subscriptions would appear for each store. And that is the over and short of checking on our configurations for SonicMQ version 10 for OpenEdge version 11.7.100. To close down our management console, we can simply click on the X up here to close it. Yes, we're sure we want to close it. And since we manually started this domain manager, we can go ahead and shut it down. Again, start. Stop domain manager. If it's not in our recently added, again, we simply go down to the area. Stop the domain manager. It will launch another window to shut it down. Once it's shut down, we are complete and we can finish. Now again, since it was set to start as a service upon reboot of this machine, this will start. You will not see the domain manager window. It will run as a background process, but everything else is fundamentally the same. Thank you for your time.